what do you?
Yeah, cause, it says lot full. Cause I went around the block. I've never had to do that. Usually on Thursdays, I pull right up to
Yeah, I don't know
empty
what's going
spot.
on today, there must be something going on in
That
the
blood
neighborhood.
drive, I don't know,
Well,
that
they
can't be
take
all
up
that.
some spots, but
Yeah, it's not,
maybe just
But
the
this-
time of day, do you normally come at this time?
Yeah,
Oh.
it's always dead down here.
Oh,
It's dead.
can I
And-
ask you a quick question?
Yeah, can I ask
Are
several
your
of them?
listeners all fitness professionals, the majority? Or-
You know, the feedback that I've gotten from people that say they listen, it ranges. There's people that listen because they know me from the gym, you know, some of my, customers and clients and stuff. But I think a lot of them, I'd say upwards of 50% fitness professionals.
you're gonna get people may or may not say that they listened to you or heard you on the air. You know, the radio station's 9:50 AM, so it's, first of all, it's an AM station, but second of all,
I brought you a
it's an
protein
AM
shake,
station
Oh,
with,
thank
without
you.
the
I used to
greatest,
get those at
It's a
the
signal.
Eliminator.
So I don't know, I get people, like my neighbors, know, oh yeah, I heard you on Fitness Edge Radio. Evan Dawson is a listener, did you know that?
I wanna be on his show.
You should.
Connections.
You should. I saw Evan at the
I love his show. I
Rochester,
listen to Connections when I leave here.
the Rochester Media Association banquet was a couple of weeks ago, and Sandy and I hung out with Evan and Morgan, and
Did he say
Evan,
good things about us?
well, he was giving me a hard time. He's like, look at you, you look great. You must be doing that Fitness Edge Radio. Yeah, I'm like, wow, you listen? He's like, yeah. I'm like, you're bullshitting me. You don't listen to this. He's like, what do I have to get by bullshitting you? The guy's crazy. Like
Is he?
he's a personality. He's Mr. Straight Lace when he's on the air, and
Well, he's talking to that audience.
Yeah,
You ever
but-
listen to WXXI,
if you have a conversation with him,
NPR?
Not really.
Okay, all right.
so
Well, you would know him from
you'd be
Channel
surprised
13
who could
Mhm.
be listening that you
Right.
wouldn't even know. So
Right.
Why do you ask out of curiosity? You wanna kinda craft your answers
I
to
wanna
that?
keep it in mind.
Okay,
I was just wondering.
don't overthink it.
Okay.
We'll have fun.
Okay.
yeah, we've got.
Did you listen to any podcasts?
Yes, I listened to two that you gave me, and before that, I had already listened to a couple.
Yeah,
The Breed Yoga lady.
yeah,
That's
she's
her
great. That's Cindy
Um,
Weiss.
I listened to Colleen Flaherty's.
Yeah.
And the nice guy named Bill that
Bill
ran a marathon.
Pontius.
Yeah.
I accused him of being a
Nice.
marathon runner, and he's a hurdler. 'Cause he corrects me every time. I go, "You run marathons," and he's like, "John, I'm a hurdler." Oh yeah, that's right.
You're one of those everything's a marathon. No, you ran a marathon
I ran
before.
a couple marathons. You run any marathons?
Half.
Half?
I'm gonna do another half in January.
I don't want you to run a
I'm
marathon.
doing a 10K.
You're lean. I don't want you to get skinny.
You're like my dad. He would say the same thing. He's
Yeah.
like, don't lift any more weights.
Why?
You're good just the way you are.
No, lift the weights, just don't run a marathon. Actually, marathons, Danger ran a marathon, we trained together actually.
Awesome.
And I was the fattest I ever was, body fat percentage wise.
I'm almost 30 pounds lighter
How's your muscle?
today than I was when I trained for those marathons.
I think your body cannibalizes its muscle out of like a survival mechanism. That's a
Mhm.
theory, I've not
You
done
might
any
have
research.
been
But
focusing more on running and
Well,
less
your
on
body-
weights too.
I did 2 marathons, the first time I didn't lift weights, the second time I did. And the second time I looked actually worse.
Did you do better in your time wise?
I did do better in my time wise.
Yeah.
But the first year I did it, you did it the 90-degree day, right?
Oh.
It was 90 degrees out. And I knocked 17 minutes off the next year, but it was 50, 60
Big
degrees.
difference.
So, I mean, how much was it better training and how much was better? Neither one, though, did I properly, follow a diet. I ate whatever I wanted. And probably used it as an excuse to eat badly because I was running all those miles. I'd like to go back, lift weights sensibly, do the miles, probably substitute some CrossFit or functional training for some of the miles, and eat a proper diet.
The
and see how that comes
Higdon
out.
plan is the way to
Mhm.
go. I mean, if you can
Yeah.
follow the Higdon plan to the letter,
Hail Higdon.
how can you not, the problem is how do you follow it to the letter? I mean, it's almost impossible. Every day is.
You put the rest of your life on hold.
Right,
You get a
exactly.
personal
That's
chef.
exactly what it
Right.
is. I mean, you could do cross training one day and, I look at his plans, I'm like, it looks so easy. It's, it's just making sure that you follow it.
The first year I did it,
Bad.
when we did it together, Russ worked for me. You remember Russ?
Yeah, of course.
I gave him the mileage plan, the plan. I said, put this on your wall, and every day I want you to ask me if I did it.
Nice.
And he did, and he kept me account. You remember Russ. Russ was my operations manager, little lean guy. You'd remember him, Cause he really liked you.
Oh.
He
must
likes
be if
ladies.
I saw him in person. I'm good with faces. That
Um,
name doesn't ring a bell. So am I putting these on?
If it's up to you, but
Danger,
yeah,
I'll
I
give you the-
suggest you wear
the
those
rundown.
just so you can hear yourself. You're on that microphone, and you want to try and be as close to the microphone as you can, just so we can hear you better. If you turn your head this way or this way, you'll be able to hear that on the air. You want to really kind of talk directly in the microphone.
You
We're
can
gonna
get it right up to your mouth.
we're gonna do two segments. We've got about 12 minutes per.
Yeah.
John H.
Yeah, we gotta be out here at 2 o'clock, so we got 30
Perfect.
minutes.
Uh,
Bam!
and then, yeah, that's it. Be conversational. We'll edit it after the fact. So if you screw up, or if you don't worry about screwing up, we're gonna treat it as if it's live, even though we're recording it. And if you say something after the fact, and you're like, we should probably take that out, or don't worry about it. If you see me back here waving to him, I'm trying to get him to reset who you are, so that listeners that are just tuning in know who we're talking to. You can't really reset enough. So don't. If you're talking and I'm back here waving, I'm not trying to get your attention or get you to stop.
Got it.
I'm trying to
And
get
I'll,
How's this?
I'll read stuff, so if I'm not looking at you and talking to you, don't let that throw you.
Okay. This good?
You sound good.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
You got a great radio voice. You're gonna make us sound good, thank you.
You sound good. All by yourself.
Alright, well, alright, we've given each other a confidence boost, so let's get on with it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Good morning and welcome back to Fitness Edge Radio with me, Mike Danger, here this and every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. to talk with leaders from our community about health, fitness, and motivation topics to inspire you, the Fitness Edge Radio listener, to reach fitness goals that you once thought were impossible. Co-host John H., John Hutchings, owner of the Downtown Fitness Club and general fitness guru, is our co-host today, chasing stories all over the Rochester area as we continue and talk to our next guest on Fitness Edge Radio. John H.
Good morning, Mike Danger, how you doing today?
Excellent.
As you know, I've been exploring what I see as a trend around town. I'm labeling it boutique fitness. It's a business model I've noticed in the last couple of years popping up. And last week, in fact, we talked with Anissa Buckley, owner of Real Life Food and Fitness over on University. And, she kind of talked about a smaller little, how would I say it, fitness room almost. They have some fitness classes going on out of there. They also have a juice bar and they have prepared foods. So that was one example of boutique fitness. But we're going to talk today to an old friend of mine, Melissa Buchanan. She has a business called Breakthrough. I was going to call it Breakout. Breakthrough Fitness. You're over in Victor, right? You're Canandaigua.
I'm kind of all over, but yes, I am coming from Canandaigua.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing? We're going to reset this a little bit. We're talking today with Melissa Buchanan of Breakthrough Fitness over in the Canandaigua Victor area. Actually, she's an online fitness professional, which is another form of the boutique fitness trend I've been talking about. Let's say good morning
Yeah.
to Melissa Buchanan.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
How you doing today?
Good.
Now,
I'm
we know-
excited to be here.
Yeah, we were talking before we came on here. We've known each other for a while. We were debating whether it was 2007, 2008, but we've known each other for a while.
Yep.
You've been up to some things in the fitness business since we last worked together.
Yeah, I've been busy.
You have.
I've been having fun.
That's awesome. That's what it's all about. Now, you started out, and you were probably doing this before, but you taught Turbo Kick and Pilates for me at the Downtown Fitness Club back in either 2007, 2008. And you actually got certified as a personal trainer at a seminar that I hosted there through AFA. So
So fond memories of the DFC and of you working with you
Yeah.
and all those great people there.
we did have some great, and we still do have
Yes,
some great
awesome
people.
memories.
Anytime you want to come back and say hi, I'm sure
It was a lot of
they'd
fun.
love to see you. But you kind of went off on your own. You are what I would call a freelance fitness professional. And if I remember right, when you left, there was a couple things going on. You live in Canandaigua, so by the time you drove in, and the time it took to travel in, back home, all the wherewithal to do that, and then the gas. I mean, gas has gone up considerably in the last 7 years. It just became not worth the time.
It's more like I was just going there to work out.
Yeah, yeah,
Which is
exactly.
fun too.
You're
but
driving an hour to work an hour to drive back home an hour.
Mhm.
It didn't really make sense logistically. But also, you got a job I call it a job, it was a contract actually. You were doing some corporate wellness for, I think it was a trucking company, was it a small trucking company?
Yep, their main office is in Farmington. So I do still go from Canandaigua to Farmington, which isn't far.
No, that's not far at all.
And-
Now, do you still work with those guys?
Yep, there was another corporation I was doing, but that was in Rochester, so again, with the drive and the time, just made more sense to stick with one. And they have a fitness center for their employees, and they offer that just for their employees to do on their lunch break. I do 2 half-hour classes back-to-back on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Now, one of the advantages of this boutique fitness model that I've been reporting on is, unlike the Globo gyms like your LA Fitnesses, not to mention any names, but they just have thousands of square feet and hundreds of machines, but you just walk in there and where do you begin? The smaller boutique fitness model offers customized programs,
Exactly.
individualized service, you know, kind of a, you know, all-in-one fitness solution. You know these people.
Right, it's a
They
lot
know
more
you.
personal.
They're
Exactly.
comfortable.
One-on-one, it's a lot more personal, so.
And you're able to kind of dive right into what their motivation is, what their background is, what their goals are, and you can customize a plan and then see it through with them. And you've done that a lot. We've stayed in touch and talked over the years. You've actually helped me out with my Transformation Tuesday feature that I have on the Facebook page for Fitness Edge Radio.
Yes.
Amanda Masser.
Yes.
She was
Yeah.
one of the first people that I featured back around the first of the year. You helped her lose an incredible amount of weight.
She did a lot of that on her own. I think it was just when she already had that much motivation, she just needed a place to put it. I helped her get that journey farther. So that's kind of like the breakthrough part of what I like to more focus on or mention the most is like getting over a hump or doing something where you feel like you're stuck, but all you need is just somebody to help get you past it. And that definitely happened with her. She did awesome.
Well, you sound a lot like, you share the same philosophy that I do with fitness, and that is, if it's to be, it's up to me, so to speak. Each client or customer or member, in my case, that walks through the door, I think I'm doing them a disservice if I try to make it sound easy.
Right.
Because fitness requires an investment. Money is probably the least of which it
Right.
requires, because there's a lot. Now, since we were working together, you've had a couple of children, right? You have 2 boys?
Yeah.
How old are the boys?
2 and 4.
And you've been married 12 years, right?
Yep.
Man, you were just a newlywed when I met you. No kids, unencumbered.
Right?
But anyway, I bring that up because a lot of people have to prioritize and find the time
Yep.
and, rearrange schedules. Jimmy's got soccer, Susie's got cheerleading, then you've gotta get them on the bus, get them off the bus, whatever those responsibilities, your time is your biggest investment.
Right.
So, it sounds as though we share the philosophy that we already acknowledge it's hard. By the time people come to us as fitness professionals, they kind of have accepted that, and we're just the catalyst to kind of get the plan in motion to help them get to the fitness goals, right?
Yes, and the first thing I do when I talk to people, when they say they want to join something I'm offering, is I don't say, okay, go here and do this. What are your goals? And what are your struggles? Because that's more important in the first place to know how instead of what. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I'm with you, I'm following you. So
I talk a lot about goals, and then that gets them in
I think
that
if you
place.
have the why, the how can be developed,
Yeah.
is what you're saying. You gotta start with the end in mind.
Exactly.
And say, what do I really want, and then how hard am I willing to work for it?
Yep.
And then that's easy for us as coaches or fitness professionals to say, okay,
This
here's
is
what you
it.
do.
Right.
Boom, 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 boom. So you still do some personal training, some group stuff for some gyms out in Canandaigua, right?
Yep.
You're doing some corporate fitness. You became a certified Beachbody coach, right?
Right.
And you're
Insanity
doing
instructor.
Insanity.
That's
I just
that's
took
my
one of those
thing.
classes
I
over
saw
at Bounce.
that.
Yeah, it's intense. It's insane.
Mhm.
And you've began online training.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about that. You put it all under one roof. You call yourself Breakthrough Fitness. For our Fitness Edge Radio listeners, give some specifics of what Breakthrough Fitness offers clients to help them achieve goals they thought once was impossible.
Well, just like you said, everyone's time is probably the most valuable. So there are options out there where they can get a live class where I am. They can get a class if it happens to be at the corporate facility. Or they can do online training because they're a busy mom, there's no way they would be able to leave the house or get anywhere at a certain time, guaranteed. So there's online options.
Now, do you
And
actually have videos that they watch you doing it, or
most
how
of
does
it,
that
it's Beachbody, I have done that too.
work?
But it's Beachbody programs that I'm helping people through. So basically, they get the schedule, the DVDs and everything, and we do a group. So I like to get like a lot of people in on it at once. So, in one of the groups I have going on right now, there's 12 people, and they all have to check in every day, and it's all accountability. They post selfies of themselves. We're in a closed group, and they're saying how that workout went that day and stuff like that. So, they're still a part of something, and they're doing this at home, but they're not alone. And
Right.
that's what really has helped get people places that they wouldn't have otherwise.
Sure, you're creating a virtual community.
Yeah.
Our last guest, who was on before you, April Johnson, over at CHG CrossFit, she talked about how CrossFit is different from other fitness pursuits in that there's a strong community support group there. And I've seen little groups kind of organically start at the gym in a general fitness format, but if that's the underlying structure of it, then it just gives people that, I don't know if it's immediate, for some it is, some it takes a little while, but that comfort that, hey, I'm not in this alone.
Exactly.
Whether it be online that you're doing or in person, but it sounds like you offer it both ways.
That's right. And it gives you more of a boost just to know that other people are out there, and you're a part of things.
Very cool.
Yes.
Misery loves company, I think, is what they say. One of the things
Well,
they
not
say.
everyone would get up, at 6 a.m. and do a workout if nobody was gonna check in with them.
I have a theory, I have a number in mind, Danger, I don't know if I've done this on previous episodes. I do some corporate fitness myself, and I usually get up and I'll talk in front of the group, and I try to figure out how many people sitting there, because in a lot of cases, if you're going into a workplace, some of those people are there under duress. They're getting told, you have a meeting in the break room at 11 o'clock and be there. And they have no interest in what you're saying. So
Right.
I'll start off and I'll say, by show of hands, how many people actually enjoy the feeling of working out? And I've developed through doing that time and time again, kind of a number. What percentage would you guess actually like, of the general population, actually like working out, the feeling of working out?
Oh, a small percentage. Well, I would say like 10 or 20%.
Danger, what would you say?
3%.
3%. I'm generous and I say 10.
Yeah, I was gonna
kinda-
say maybe 20 was a little.
Just by, experience and being in front of all those groups, I once went around the whole state for RG&E, NYSEG, all the Energy East people. It's now Iberdrola, but they had, I forget what it was called over in Connecticut. I went to Connecticut. But I would go in all these installations and stand up. And I remember one place at Liberty, New York, there was a huge warehouse and I had about 150 people. And all I could focus on is the two guys sitting in the middle with their arms crossed, like going, we would rather stab you right now than listen to you. So, I kind of developed those numbers, and I think it's a small percentage.
Yeah.
I think if we motivate people and we ask, as you said up front, what is your goal? What is your burning desire? What do you want to accomplish? And then we kind of use that as the bait, if you will, to kind of get them to do the work. Probably can get it up to close to 50%, right?
Yeah.
50, yeah, we'll go 50.
It's gotta be fun. I think for most people, nobody likes it if it's not fun, at least at first. It's gotta be fun at first.
Okay.
If it's gotta be a little challenging and a little fun to keep it interesting and keep them coming back, and then they gradually get, I'm starting to feel good.
Yeah.
Then they get it, they start to feel it, but
Then they see results.
if it's forced and, if it's not fun, then yeah.
Okay. Well, we're talking with Melissa Buchanan, owner of Breakthrough Fitness this morning on Fitness Edge Radio. Melissa, I want to go back to what I said about teaching a class not being worth the gas money. That's something I think as a freelance fitness professional you have to take into account, because I'm sure you've had opportunities come across your desk and you go, let me do the math here.
Right.
Maybe it's not the right opportunity. I would like to explore some of the thought process and then the advantages and disadvantages to being a freelance fitness professional, but let's do that
Okay.
right after we take a break.
Okay.
All right, we'll be back right after this. How'd we do, 12 minutes?
That was 13.
Ooh, I almost nailed it.
13
Good
minutes.
job.
For the next segment here, I'm gonna go on a little monologue. I apologize for that. It seems like I've been doing that.
Melissa,
Oh, no.
Melissa,
Yep.
Buchanan, Buchanan.
Yep.
Got it.
Is the sound okay? Am I sounding
Yeah,
okay?
You sound great.
Sounds
Thank
perfect.
Yeah, you're good. I'm gonna jump back in just saying, I wanna talk a little bit about the traditional, part-time fitness professional in the fitness field. It's usually somebody, for whatever reason, their schedule allows them to either A, not make a lot of money, they'll teach 3 or 4 classes a week, maybe their husband or wife is the breadwinner, or they're working full-time. I have some people who work with, 9 to 5 jobs, they're working for the state, they'll come in and teach a 6 AM
Right.
class or a 5 PM. They're doing it to supplement and because they love fitness. But then, what do you do when you wanna become a full-time fitness professional? If you want that to be your career, how do you find the opportunities without becoming affiliated with one single place? What are some of the pluses, the minuses, the challenges, the threats to, your business? I'll go through that, and then we'll, I wanted to do a little piece on corporate fitness in general.
Mhm.
And just, I kinda have a theory that the corporate world says corporate wellness, but when it comes time to demonstrate corporate wellness, you hear the crickets chirping.
Mhm.
Because that program I told you about,
Mhm.
I probably billed those guys, I was billing those guys, I think it was $250 an hour to stand there and do that talk. And then I bill them travel time at a little lower rate. But when I drove to that place I was telling you about, Liberty,
Yeah.
it's out, it's a pretty amazing place actually, it's below Albany, about halfway to New York City. I sent them a bill for like $1,500 for driving out there, giving a
Right.
talk and driving back.
Right.
They were paying it. Then one day they said, oh, we're cutting that out of the budget.
Yeah.
Boom.
Cause they don't, they offer it to say on, like health insurance or whatever, they can, that they offer it,
Mhm.
but they don't like enforce it or,
I
don't you
they have a-
think?
I don't think they have an overall game plan or a vision. They don't
I
have
would
any
think
measurement
somebody-
tools, they don't know how it's,
Somebody up there has to be,
right. That's what you do. You
what's
find
it called?
cheerleaders, you find champions,
yeah.
you find advocates who say, this is good, we
And
have
I'm
to do
gonna
it.
do it
And they
too.
have enough
They have
juice
to
to
be a
make
part
people
of
do it. But as soon as you lose the juice, you're usually
Right.
out the door looking for the next contract. All right, let's
I
do
was
it.
at ESL too, but,
That was,
yeah.
no. I think I remember that.
Speaking of crickets.
They've got a beautiful room over there, I
It's
hear.
too nice, it's just sitting there,
No one's doing anything there?
not a lot of people,
They don't join my gym
less
either.
than 10%.
I have 0 ESL members.
Yeah.
You would think just 1 or 2 would say, I don't wanna work out with my coworkers, I'm gonna go to this place. 0.
Mhm.
I had 1 for a little while. Anyway, take us back.
Alright,
Take us back in.
segment 2, you guys are ready?
I think let me get back up to my script here. Well, actually, I am gonna read this, but I don't usually read, I just need to be able to look down and see where I'm at.
Alright, we're back on Fitness Edge Radio. This is Sports Radio 950 ESPN. We're a show created to help you get past your personal fitness goals, achieve goals that you once thought were impossible. Our guest this morning is Melissa Buchanan of Breakthrough Fitness and her website, melissabuchananfitness.com. John H.
Melissa, it's been my experience, we were talking a little bit about the break about, the freelance fitness field. I've been doing this for about 20 years, 17 really, if I round it off to say 20. People that work in the fitness field, traditionally, they've come by it like, it's a part-time gig, they love fitness, they wanna be part of it, they have a skill set that they wanna share with other people. But usually they became an employee of a gym, like a YMCA or the Downtown Fitness Club or RAC or LA Fitness. They enjoyed the advantages of like steady, predictable employment. And they had clientele. That's one of the advantages, especially in the suburbs. I have a hard time convincing people to come downtown when they teach to 8 people, when they can go to the suburbs and teach to 80. That's part of the draw too that I think. But, I've always said when I interview people, and I think they would agree, you don't get wealthy doing that. You know, you kind of do it if you're not the primary breadwinner, or you have a schedule that's, you know, steady, like a 9 to 5 that you can teach classes afterwards or before. It just worked, you know, and that's what traditionally people came to the fitness industry by, as group exercise instructors or personal trainers. They could supplement their income with 5 to 8 classes a week. It just worked. If you wanted to go out on your own and be a full-time, you had a couple of choices. You could start your own gym, which was a big startup cost, big investment. Excuse me. Or you could get a gig, you know, at a gym or a school or a corporate gig, but it usually entailed some other components of the job, like sales. You had to be a salesperson. That's how I started in this business. Be in operations. But recently, like I said, these small boutique fitness solutions have started popping up. Limited overhead, few or no employees. Do you have any employees, by the way?
Not exactly.
Kind of a contract arrangement?
There is one awesome person that helps me out with like technical things that I have difficulty with, like on my website, and
That's important. You gotta be out there. You got great social media, by the way.
thank you. And so I have someone that does help me, and that's virtual too. I just send her what I am looking to do, and she does it for me, and that works out. But then as part of Beachbody, you have a team, so you have other people that want to be coaches too, for whatever reason, if it's just to get a discount or if it is to help people and have your own company, and then they can work under you. But no, I, for my own, do not have any employees.
So limited overhead, you don't
Yes.
have a building anyplace, you don't
No.
pay rent anyplace.
Nope,
Few or no employees,
right?
but you decided you wanna go full-time, you wanna be a fitness professional. You know, why did you choose this route? Why didn't you just lock down with a YMCA or a RAC? Are you just a maverick?
Just like in fitness is a lot like business.
Mhm.
It has to be something that you're, well, if you were a business owner, something you're passionate about, something you believe in.
Absolutely.
And just like in business, you're like a walking business in your mind too, like you never stop working maybe, and you fit it into your life.
Yep.
Like today is my day off, but I still do work here and there, you just fit it into your life. So, it just works.
Yeah.
It works for me, cause I'm constantly going, and I just do what I am already going to do, but make it fit into my business. I share what workout I did that day. It's part of my life, so it's easy to fit it in. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. I'm just watching a tow truck
I
go
know,
out by
so
there, and we were talking about.
Hope it's not yours.
Yeah, we were talking about parking here today, and I hope I'm not getting towed, but I'll poke my head over there in a minute. What do you feel have been your biggest challenges going this route? You know, if you think back over it's been 7 years since we worked together, so I'm assuming you've been kind of independent since then. What was your biggest challenge?
A big challenge is, well, when you don't work, you don't get paid. So also any sick days you might have, you don't get paid. Basically, I would say that.
Okay. All right, we're gonna put this on pause for a
Yeah.
second. Let me just go look out this, because I think they might be actually towing my car.
Oh no.
Come
We'll
on.
figure it out.
He's got a black Jeep, right?
Where did he park?
That makes sense. I don't know. And he was on the end here.
Oh, he was over here?
Yeah. Oh no. That was a good time to pause though.
So, tell me about P90X3.
All right, I'm back.
Oh, 30
They're ju-
minutes.
They're just
30?
hauling.
30 minutes. And
Oh, dear.
it's similar but different.
Okay.
Did you do the first one?
I did.
There's P90X1 and 2,
Yeah.
and now there's P90X3, just came out in January.
My wife wants to get
30
into
minutes.
something, and
Anybody can do it, they
that's her
show,
thing. It's like,
you know,
it's 30 minutes, and maybe I can. She like saw T25. So, oh, T25 is 25 minutes. I can do 25 minutes. I
Did
can
she
do.
get it?
No.
Oh.
No,
Hook her up with Melissa.
Whatever.
She'd be a perfect match for Sandy.
absolutely. That's all I'm thinking about as I'm listening to you.
Well,
is
we
like,
do, there's options. Is she like into more cardio or more weightlifting or
she wants to
both?
tone up. She just
Yeah,
wants to
she-
tone up. She's like, I
Does
just
she-
want to tone up. That's what
Is
she